Hey guys, welcome back to week 13 of the Axial Deadbolt budget build. Last week, I pretty much told you what we were going to get done this week already, since we blew up the servo gears the week before that. Now, since I did foreshadow our upgrades already, it made me a little bit less excited to get this one done. But I am going to go ahead and just do another video this week that'll release tomorrow to keep my schedule moving and get more done in this truck. It's just something that I want to do to keep this thing going and keep it a little bit more exciting. So, this week, though, let's get into talking about some servos. Now, the Tactic TSX45 that came in this truck was moving it along pretty well. Nothing super impressive, but it got the job done. It moved the truck really, when you were moving without any issue. And when you were stopped, it did pretty well. Now, the gear set in there has one plastic gear all the way down the bottom. Now, to get this thing going on the cheap, if you're just looking to go out and do trail running, there's probably not a big reason you need to spend $150 on a super ultra high torque servo with crazy speed. If you just want to get this thing back going again, spend under $10 and get an all metal gear set for that stock servo. You can do that by picking up a gear set for one of their other models in the lineup. Look for the TSX57 servo set, where that one's got all metal gears inside. So you buy the replacement gears for that, and then all of a sudden that stock servo that you had that was getting the job done is back up and running, but you're not going to have that same issue over and over again. So make a few smart upgrades like that, and you can save yourself money, but keep your truck on the trail more reliably. If rather than just repairing, you want to add a little bit more power, my suggestion would be picking up the Tactic TSX65 servo. Now that's a little step up in their lineup. It runs about 60 bucks, but it's got over twice the power output from that stock Tactic servo. And again, it's only 60 bucks. The guys at Hobbies have been testing that one for quite a while, and the durability reports have been fantastic on it. So for that money, something that I really wouldn't mind standing behind and suggesting to all of you guys. 60 bucks, not a bad price for a servo that's going to put out 350 plus ounce chances of power. That's enough power to move a set of 1.9s pretty easily without really any concerns. Now 350 ounce inches of power is rated at 7.4 volts, something that you will need that BEC that we installed last week to output. So again, another reason why that BEC is a good option and something that you should add to your truck. Now, if any of you guys need a little quick how-to video on replacing the stock gears inside this servo, I'll throw something together for you guys and post it as well. I'll throw a link to it in the description of this video to try and make sure it's easy for you guys to get back out on the trail or give you something to reference in the future in case you're not ready to upgrade yet, but you want to have something on hand to know how to do it. Now, I do want to go over a couple of options more towards the higher end. Now, I'm a Futaba driver, so I'm looking at Futaba Servos. There's a lot of good servos out on the market, though. Look and try and pick the brand that you want. I do have some, preconceived notions about some servos. It's kind of up to you. High-tech, great servos with great gear material. I've been a big fan of them in the past. Savox servos, not a huge fan personally. I don't find them to be as efficient. So I like the Futaba. High-tech's also a pretty good one that I would stand behind, a good suggestion as well. I do not suggest so many of like the Solars or things like that. There's, again, a huge debate that can get started on what servo's best to go with. In general, it's going to be a personal preference thing. I'm not trying to talk you into one versus the other. The first one I want to cover from Futaba is this one here, which is the S9157. Now, I've ran this in a lot of cars for a long time and just had really good luck with it. It puts out a lot of power at 420 ounce inches. Something that I've found to be a really reasonable amount of power for sure in a 1.9, not something you necessarily need more of. It's a decently quick servo at 0.14 transit at 6 volts. So in general, I've had good luck with this one and ran it for quite a while. Futaba servos, one thing that is super nice about them that they don't really advertise is that most of them are waterproof out of the box. You can go onto their website, Futaba-RC.com. You can go to their servos part and you can kind of look and see their specs. They have a WP box next to the servo listing, which stands for waterproof. And again, you will see that in most of their servos. Now, lastly, to go over the servo that I actually installed in this car. Now, what you see in here is a blue side case. And what this servo is the Futaba BLS 157 HV. Now, it's a pretty overkill servo, but it's just something I did to make sure that I always had plenty. Also, it's very fast. The BLS 157 is actually discontinued now though, and that's something that I hated when I was trying to get this thing installed for some of you guys. They do have a replacement for it, but Futaba added S-Bus to it, which is their link type system so that you can address, like an IP address almost, your servos for the guys who are running the big planes, and it really rose the price on it. However, this servo is 514 ounce-inches of power. Again, a lot, and overkill for 95 or 99% of you guys who are probably watching this type of video. But if you really just want to know that you always are going to have enough power, it's the way that I went. So again, Servo Wars, you can debate the servo choices for hours. It's going to come down to what you're comfortable with, what you really want, and what you want to spend. This week, I definitely wasn't as focused and concise on exactly what I think you should choose when you're upgrading this particular part of your rig. Usually, I'm a little bit better about that, but with servos, sometimes you're just never going to convince people one way or another. So I understand that, and I'm not trying to necessarily change your mind on whatever way you're going to go. One thing I will say, though, is that every time you're moving your RC, basically, if you're driving it, you're using that servo. So think about that when you think about the total amount of money that you put into your rig. If you've upgraded it with $200, $400, $600, $800 or more dollars worth of aftermarket parts and things like that, maybe spending a little bit more than $40 on an upgraded servo is a good idea. Food for thought. Go with what you want to go with, though, in the end. So with that, though, that's where we're going to be for this week's Deadbolt budget build video. For the budget on my side, I'm going to kind of go down the middle, and I'm going to use the budget from that Tactic TSX 65 servo. I'm cheating a little. Anyway, that's what we got for this week, guys. Remember, I am going to put out another video tomorrow just to keep this thing rolling. I want to upgrade this car. I don't want to just replace the part. So while that is what we did this week, we're going to do more. Watch for tomorrow, and I'll put out something else. And the next video are ones that I'm really excited about and I think are going to be a lot of fun and really going to start changing up this truck. Probably something that a lot of you guys have never seen before. With that, we'll see you guys tomorrow.